I'd like to invite Oriol Canut. Oriol, are you here? Yes. Oriol's going to join us and give us a presentation on strategic steps to develop the AdBlue passenger car market in Spain, Portugal, and the UK. So this is changing gear, looking at the area which Rosalie covered and I covered, passenger car consumption and how we service those customers. Oriol is a veteran of the AdBlue sector. He was involved with Greenchem from very early 2006 timeframe, developing the Greenchem business in Spain and Portugal and so on. He's a member of the advisory board of Greenchem and a great deal of experience. So, Oriol, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Tim. Is that one? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Tim, for the opportunity to do this presentation today. The subject is developing a blue network for passenger cars in Iberia and the UK. And the first thing we would like to say with regards to that, it is about commitment, or if I follow the allegory that Tim was doing previously this morning, is also about faith. We have the faith that the AdBlue for passenger cars will play a very important role in the future. Unfortunately, the news that we constantly get on the press and some political decisions seem to play against that. So at the end, we have to convince ourselves that we are going on the right direction. So we would like to talk about how do we believe we could create a sustainable network of product availability for passenger cars, and how we could support and help to create a customer-friendly infrastructure. Just very few information about Greenchem. We are a company which is operating in the AdBlue market since 2003, 2004. Last year we sold around 600 million liters, mainly in the European market. We have subsidiaries in 9 countries, plus Brazil. Probably we are one of the few companies which have AdBlue as the one and only activity, so we have to make our business case out of AdBlue only. And we believe we have one of the most efficient supply chain infrastructures in Europe. Well, that's the only way to make this business sustainable. We have, this map shows a bit our locations. We have primary sources and secondary sources. Primary sources is where we get the product directly from natural gas, and secondary sources for us is the places where we are doing the tolling from urea. Going straight to the case, I mean, talking about a sustainable network AdBlue availability is for us very relevant. We talk about environment, we talk about sustainability. Let's see the implications of the growth that we expect that the AdBlue market will have in the next years. This is a little estimation. Looking at the presentations before, we could be 5% below the reality, or 5% above. Let's consider that by 2025, diesel car sales will represent between 25 and 30%. European scale. That might mean between 4 and 5 million new diesel vehicles a year. And we are conservative, considering that SCR may represent 90% of that. What I have heard today is that it could represent 100% SCR versus diesel vehicles. Based on a consumption which again is conservative of 1.5 liters per 1,000 kilometers, we would be looking at the market, potential market, per year of minimum 72 million liters. That's on top of the market that we all have now in terms of AdBlue. So the relevant question probably here is, how are we going to deliver this volume? We have different options. As most of the AdBlue suppliers, we have a range of cans, 4, 5, 10, 20 liters, which is at this moment for the passenger car industry is available in forecourts, outlets, motor factors, eBay, Amazon, AdBlue, retailers, OEMs. Mostly everybody has got cans to offer at this moment. What does it represent for Greenchem at this moment? Before the really start of the passenger car AdBlue market, already 180,000 cans per month, and only Greenchem, okay? Another option for refilling cars with AdBlue is drums. Some workshops, OEMs are really going for that. They are already, some of them, they are equipped with drums for the supply of AdBlue on their garage. Of course, it brings some cost to recycle all this plastic that they are using, and we can offer you some ideas of how to use them. And this is my friend Chris, who helped me on that presentation, who gave some ideas on what to do with your bins, okay? Ultimately, we have a volume at this moment of more than 3,400 drums per month, only Greenchem. Just to give you an idea of the amount of plastic that we are generating with all this business case. So probably the relevant question at this point as well is whether it is sustainable to create a network of can and drum supply to cope with the AdBlue market for passenger cars. I'm a father, like probably many of the people here, and some years ago I was looking at these pictures and I didn't understand what they were referring to. Now I am really concerned when I see that, because then you think about your children and you think about the implications of having these big mountains of plastic generated by us going around. And we really have to take care about that. We really have to be concerned about that for the future of our families. Just to give you a short example, this 72 million liters increase in the market that will happen in the next years due to the passenger cars' use of AdBlue, in terms of 10-liter cans, in 3 years, we would have enough cans to circle the world. Just to give you an idea of the amount of cans that will be added, remember, added to the current need. That's why, from our perspective, bulk is the only solution. Workshops are already moving in that way, garage. They are already moving from the drum to bulk solutions because they have a lower cost. They have better control on the liters they are using. They have zero cost to recycle, of course. Here are some examples of a Jaguar Land Rover garage. But in our opinion, service stations are the key move forward for the AdBlue supply for passenger cars. This is absolutely a win-win situation, both for the industry and for the customer. The customer wants to refill at the service station because it's what he's used to do when he's refilling his fuel. For the station owner, it's a great opportunity for a new business. And of course, it's a better experience for his customer to deliver from a pump, to get delivered from a pump than to get delivered from a can. Any of you who have tried to top up your car with AdBlue from a can, you can find a lot of different experiences, and not all of them are as satisfactory as they should be. Creating a bulk filling infrastructure needs commitment. And we are committed to do that. We have a 5-year strategic plan which involves equip minimum 1,500 service stations with bulk dispensing units in Europe. We are considering a 2.5 million euros investment in those sites. And we will have dedicated salespeople to approach those customers. And in addition to that, equipment is very relevant. We have our own equipment engineering, and some other steps will be taken from now on. At this moment, our offer on equipment includes above-ground tanks, which are from 1,000 liters, as I said, with our own engineering. We offer multiple dimensions. We fit on all sides from our customers. We offer in general dual dispenser, which deliver trucks and cars on the same site. We do telemetry monitoring. We also do customized system, and we also offer a marketing package, flags, folders. We really, and we feel it that from our customers, they really want to tell that they are there at their site, they are offering AdBlue. It's very important for them. Some examples of our bulk concept proposal for Spain. We have equipped a number of sites. I will come to this a little bit later, but this is only some examples of how we fit these systems into the sites. We can do big systems, but the preference for these service stations is small systems with a very small footprint, and we can do systems with a footprint of 1.5 meters per one. For the UK, we are also doing conversion of existing sites which were used specifically for trucks to truck and car. And we are already doing a lot of new installations. So there is a focus, the same like in Spain. My colleague Chris and myself have a clear vision on that service station will play a very important role in the growth of the market for the next years. So you see here some other examples of systems which are being equipped in the UK, and how easy it is for the customer to top up their AdBlue tanks. Just to give you an example of what we have done so far, at this moment we have more than 75 service stations in Europe equipped with passenger car pumps. It can be either dual or 100% passenger car pumps. And the plan, as I said before, is in 5 years, 1,500. It looks like quite a challenging, but it has to be possible. On top of that, and just to help our customers, which are the service stations, to get promoted, this is the app. It's not visible, by the way. Nah. False. If not, we just can continue.
Coming?
It's not coming, no problem. Yeah, I know that. It was conflicting with the Fan AdBlue app, so it was somehow tempered. Well, just for your information, we have developed our own app for that, and only with Greenchem systems. Okay, we just move on. No, okay, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Thank you. Okay, so we move on. Question: is our commitment and the commitment of our other AdBlue suppliers and equipment manufacturers enough to guarantee a bold retail infrastructure in Europe? In our opinion, it's not enough. The main reason, as we mentioned previously, is the continuous negative messages that we get on media. There's a big pressure on diesel. Diesel is supposed to be dead or about to die. It's about to disappear and is responsible for local contamination. We just saw in the previous presentation from our colleague from Preventia that it's probably particulates and NOx are the biggest cause of death at this moment in Europe. So here are some examples of news that we all get every day on press regarding the impact of this local contamination generated by particulates and by NOx. And of course, how are car manufacturers reacting to that? Well, they don't clearly support diesel cars. They just, the messages that they send, and it's a pity that we don't have many car manufacturer representatives here, is really something that it's really a pity because we cannot initiate a debate with them. Is that the only news that they release is that they are going for electrification, that they are going for different technologies, but it is the reality is a bit different. So we really need car manufacturers to openly support support diesel, and when I mean openly, I mean talking to their customers. The customers are the person, the people which is going to buy cars. And actually, why the car manufacturers have to take the lead on that? Because they have invested millions in the last years in diesel technology. And this investment needs to be amortized. So their cars that will be produced out of diesel need to be sold. And the reality is that these cars will need AdBlue. If we consider that diesel may represent, SCR, represent 25% of sales up to 2025, it might mean as well that it will represent more or less 20% of the existing park by that. It's a big percentage of the market. And AdBlue will play an important role for that. And of course, car manufacturers have by far the biggest budget in terms of communication. And by far, the largest network, okay, from OEMs down to the workshops. So our demand to the car manufacturers here, I don't see any of them, probably there is as well. Next door, okay, we should knock on that. Probably we should join both doors. Is that they should communicate to restore the confidence on diesel. We are in a bit of a chicken and egg situation. We hear car manufacturers asking for infrastructure for passenger cars, for AdBlue. On the other hand, they don't support openly diesel. So it's very difficult, as Tim was saying previously this morning, it's very difficult to convince investors to go for investing in AdBlue equipment on their service stations and to convince businessmen if there is no open support for a technology which is, as we have discussed in the last 2 days, is clean, ecological, and it's not comparable to the previous diesel cars that we have on our roads. There are some news on that direction. Of course, if we have to believe what the CEO of Bosch said lately with the technology they just launched, that they promise they can reduce NOx emissions by 90% compared to the WLTP demand. Well, this is a good step on that direction. Let's not forget that in general, customers will not buy a diesel car because they believe it contaminates too much. They probably will not buy a diesel car because they believe they will be banned on the cities. And the message on that is completely wrong. Journalists write this in a very tricky way. They tell Germany cities will ban diesel cars from 2018 on. It's not true. They will ban the dirty diesel cars, but they will not ban diesel cars. And this message has to be really controlled by car manufacturers, that it really reaches the public in the right way. And car manufacturers could also communicate what has been the evolution in the particulate matter emissions from 1993, and that cars today diesel cars contaminate 90% less than what they used to do 20 years ago. They also should talk about what's about NOx. And of course, and this is something which happened, which I found out lately in Spain, is that the new Euro 6D temp car, like this Audi A7, has an eco label. Eco label, I don't know if it works the same for all the countries, but in Spain you have different labels that you put on your cars depending on the emissions, and you pay taxes differently depending on your label on your car. Eco label was only meant for natural gas cars and hybrid cars with autonomy below 40 kilometers. It was never mentioned in the description of an eco label diesel car. Now we have diesel cars with eco label. This is very relevant, very, very relevant. So the last message would be keep calm on this one. Thank you very much.